Welcome back to the shop, rats. Today we're back on a project that we haven't touched since September of last year, and we hadn't even worked on a whole lot at that point. But it's time to bring it back out because I really want to move forward on that project. And well, you've probably seen the thumbnail, so you know that I'm talking about Fat Fanny, my 1947 Ford that's built in a 1980s StreetRod style. Love the car, can't wait to get that car on the road, and I've been saying that for 20 years, so it's time to move forward on that project. Today, we're going to bring the grill out, take a look at the condition of it, see what needs to be done to get it ready to paint, test fit again, all of the trim, and, well, we just got stuff, so stick around, don't go away. I'll be right back. I'm Mike.
This is My Cars Shop.
So what we have here is a custom-made front bumperette that I made out of the filler panel that went under the grill, between the grill and the bumper, and custom made that. And then we have the front grill itself. So what I need to do is get this cleaned up, and then I need to go back, and there's a set of brand new grill moldings. There's also a piece of trim that goes on here I should find. I want to get all of this stuff test fitted and see exactly where the finish work is on this grill, because I haven't worked on it in so long, and I need to see the condition of what needs to be touched up and fixed and sanded versus what I'm going to let go. Not much of this grill is visible, so I don't care if it's perfect. I just want it to be done. But by the same token, it's a fairly high quality car, and I don't want to compromise and leave real crappy body work under the paint in somewhere where if I had spent 5 minutes sanding and doing a little fill priming or something, it would have been better. So let's get this cleaned up, see what we got, and then we'll get the grill moldings out. So I quickly blew everything off, as you saw, and then off camera I went through and wiped everything down with Prep-Sol to get an idea on the condition. Well, just to know what condition my condition is in. And looked at the bumperette. It needs to be sanded. It's got some orange peel in it. Overall, it's pretty good. Until we wet sand it, we're not going to know. But I see that my trim holes are all plugged with Bondo and stuff, so I need to go through and do that. I brought out all the trim. I'll bring that over here in a second. The grill itself, I think it looks pretty good, but we got to get those trim pieces on there, like I said, and just see what condition its condition is in. So let's do some unboxing of those new parts, which we've unboxed before many times, but I don't know if we've shared this with you on the channel or not, but most of you are new here anyway since I worked on this part of the car, so it's good review. There's all of our brand new stainless, and almost all of it is brand new. And here is our grill moldings. So I need to get a table to put this stuff on, so I'll be right back. I'm going to have to dig because I don't know where the clips and stuff are. I had them all. I know that the grill molding retainer stuff is here, so let's start with that first. Almost saw me have to do a whole bunch more body work. I love this stuff. It's all brand new. It's from Bob Drake. It's got a little fly spots and stuff on it from sitting around forever, but we can polish that up. No, oh, there's a bunch of the screws and stuff right there. I don't know if these are okay. These go on here like so. It's all brand new, but it's, 13 years old, I think, when I bought it. Huh. Okay, those are the clips to hold it to the, pull it into the fenders. That's not like me to not have kept the screws in the box. I'm puzzled by that. Okay, now I know what they look like, because there's one here. All right, I got to go on a hunt. I'll be back. So in the interest of full disclosure, which sometimes is embarrassing, and it is a little embarrassing, I know that the clips All the screws, all the hardware for this grill are all together somewhere. They were always in a paint container with tape over it back there on the shelf. There's also a box that has all the brand new spring clips for the trim. And I think the paint container, paint lid, and all those clips are together somewhere, because when I put the trim on the 47 on the side, I didn't use all the clips yet because I know we're going to take it back off and wheel it. And I only used some out of that bag, out of that box, and all that stuff. For the life of me, can't remember where I put it. So we're going to move on. I've spent half an hour or so digging around trying to find stuff. And but this still, I got screws in here to hold this on. This kind of falls in place. So what I'm seeing, and I'll bring you over here and look so that you can look. What I'm seeing is everything looks good. There's a few little pits right in there. I don't know if I'm going to worry about it. It's rust right on the edge. And I think if we just take and carefully sand that, we'll get most of that out of there. So let me bring you over here and show you what we got. So from what I'm seeing, little teeny things. This is a bumper. This is going to get beat up a lot. And there's orange peel in it. So I think if we just block that out, we're going to be fine. Of course, we need to polish up the trim. This piece is original. It's one of the only pieces I didn't replace. So we will take some time and minorly fix that. I'm not going to worry about like getting some of these big, I don't even know how to get that out of there. I could, but not that I don't know how. But so I think we're going to be all right on that piece. These are brand new here, and here. They're just from sitting in boxes and sitting in the shop forever. They're just a little bit, they need a little attention. But what I'm seeing, if I can find a spot here, it's very minor. Find one. Okay, right here. You see right there? There's these little teeny pits. And I think if I really want this to look good, there's some there. I'm going to have to take some time and just work on getting those little pits right on the top of that trim taken care of. I don't remember. I have the original of this stuff. It's out in the trunk of my Sassy. We could potentially, see that maybe that was just a bit wider, but this is brand new. I'm going to use this. It's all from Bob Drake. Like I said, this is just corroded from sitting in the box, but it's gorgeous stuff. So we got some work to do on that piece of trim there and some minor work to do along the edges here. I'm really going to scratch my head about where that hardware is. I know it's all together somewhere. It will be in the last place I look. That's for sure. At least it better be, because if I keep looking after I find it, then that's kind of dumb. Well, my OCD wouldn't let it go, and I went back in the back room and I thought, did I put that stuff in a tote when I cleaned off that bench in the shop organization series? Did I put stuff in something that I'm not remembering? Because I've had a kind of way I've organized stuff in my chaos for a long time, and I pretty much knew where everything was. And sometimes when you change where things are, you kind of mess things up. Now, I don't know if the stuff is in here or not, but I'm finding like that is a welting, a splash shield, the hood latch. That's a clue because this goes with the grill. Windshield wipers. Oh, here's another clue. The radiator shroud that goes with the grill. I think we're on to something here. Front blinker extras. Well, looky here. There it is. Okay, so it wasn't in a black container. It was in this container and in a bag, but everything is there. Whew! What else we got in here since it's like Christmas shopping? All kinds of extra little screws and bits. Oh, look. A sun visor. Nope, 2 sun visors for the 47 Ford. They're beautiful. They're like new. Look at them. Perfect. Easy enough to make something for that. A box of all kind of other stuff. Special bags, bolts, bits. What's this? Oh, tags from the front marker lights that are on the car that I bought. New old stock at a swap meet. There's the bag of clips I was trying to find. We'll probably need some of those. Oh, the door handles. Well, we just got, oh, look, the original blinker switch. I looked for that forever. There's a brand new one around here somewhere, just like this, though, which I bought a different one, so it doesn't matter. But I got a brand new one from back in the 50s or 60s in the box. Haven't found that yet. More fender welting. Oh, all kind of rubber stuff. Well, it's just like 47 Ford Christmas. Oh, the escutcheons. Oh, look. A little brass hammerhead. I'm going to put that somewhere else. As I was digging around and seeing just all the new parts that I have, brand new stuff. I did want to mention that I don't always do things on the cheap like I have done on Stitches, and you guys haven't seen some of the higher dollar work stuff that I do. The 47 isn't a super high dollar car, but I definitely did spend some money because I had sold my 1931 Ford and I had a pocket full of cash, and when I was looking at doing this car, I thought, you know, I want this thing to be just normally I don't go out and buy new trim and all that stuff, but this car I did spend some money on to get some of that stuff. So, this a little different on this project than some of the other ones. We weren't doing this one on the super low dollar. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't have a lot of money in this car. It's mostly sweat equity, but yeah. Okay, so what I want to do, which these little pieces in here, I'm gonna put all together in here. Oh, I see. There's all brand new screws for this. Okay, good. We may put that in a Ziploc bag and put it in there. This doesn't really matter. This doesn't need to be bolted on, but I do want to get those holes on that piece pushed through where they belong and get the trim pieces, because I want to check the fitment before I finish this part. I want to check the fitment of this trim when it's snapped in place to be sure that I'm happy with the way that it looks. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and put all this stuff back in the box. I feel like this part, it's got one little flaw right there we need to fix. Didn't notice that. That'll be an easy. But I think the grill is ready to paint, other than it needs a little bit of, well, no, we got some work along the edges just above these stainless pieces to do. So we will get that touched up. I need to see if I still have more of this buff primer. Just a note here that I found with this Metalux paint that I used on this car, the color of the primer underneath does bleed through the base coat a little bit. So I'm trying not to use any other color primer where it's visible, other than the original buff, which was a Nason buff primer. We may use a, because I know there's some rattle can stuff you can get that's a similar color, but I'm trying not to get too varied in the primer that I'm using under the base coat, so we don't end up with some weird hue in the paint, because everything else was done in the buff. I did want to mention that when I bought this car, it was disassembled, or largely disassembled, and so a lot of the bits for this car I don't have. So, like, for example, the trim clips that go here, I'm just using some old stuff that's laying around. I'm not sure they're exactly the right ones, but doesn't matter. There's 6 of them total. So I'm just using some old rusty ones that I'm not going to be using, because I have all brand new ones for the side of the car. And it's about hot rodding, right? So, I'm not looking for concourse restoration where somebody's going to crawl under the car and say, oh, you didn't use the exact right clips that are... Maybe these are. I don't know. But that's not what I'm looking for. That one's a little bit rustier than I want. That one's good. So there's 6 of them total, I believe. Okay. Need to make sure they're all kind of pointing the same way. And that's the other thing, is I don't know which way they need to go in here. So we're going to have to figure that out based upon where they lay. But I think from what I'm seeing, the holes are back far enough that we want the clips back as far this way as we can. So the next step now is we need to go ahead and drill out all these holes here to be able to get that to fit. Some may say, why are you bothering to do that? Why don't you wait till after you paint it? But if I drill this and there's any mud in there and it happens to crack, then I got to do it again, and I don't want to do that. So we're just going to go through and get them cleaned out right now and be done with it. Helps if you tighten the drill bit in. It's right there. You see it chipped a little bit. That's not going to matter because it's under the trim, but If we had something a little more catastrophic happen, we certainly wouldn't want that to be after paint. This one here is really filled in. So I must have put a skim coat across the top there. I figured out how to find that one. It's right in there somewhere. Hope I didn't weld it shut by accident. Don't think I did. Nope, it's right there. Maybe I can drill it from this side. I could just get it to hold still. There we go. Okay, whew. Yep, little chip, but that's fine. Okay, should be all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I counted all the way to 6. It's a long span, the long span. Oops. There's another hole right there I missed. Right there. Yep, so there's supposed to be 7. Okay. Sorry about dropping you. So we're going to need one more clip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these may not be the right clips, so it may not position that trim in exactly the right spot. If that's the case, we may have to get on the web thing and order some, but we're going to try. Whew, don't like that one at all. I think it's okay, except the ends pull way back. And I got an idea on that. So we're going to pop this off. I'll be right back. All right, so here's what we got. So I went through and I drew a line relatively where these clips go in relation to the front edge of this. And you can see that this one here has got a certain distance. This one's further back, and you can see that it pulls the trim back. This one's about the same as this one, but this one is way back, and this one is way back from that edge, which is why it is binding. So I think what I'm going to do, these holes are fine. I can leave these holes. It doesn't matter. I don't need to fill them because they're under the trim anyway. They may poke through a little bit, but this is all under the grill, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. But what I think I'm going to do is re-drill the 2 holes like here and here and put them at the proper spacing towards the front edge so that it doesn't pull back and so that this piece lines up. My guess this is just poor quality control from the factory because this edge was a body line in the car, but there was more metal that came out here, so it was a stamping. And I'm sure that the tolerances were plus or minus 1/4 of an inch on that. And I used that body line to make this curvature. I just took my plasma cutter and went right along that body line and cut off the rest of that panel and threw that all away and then put new metal on to make this bumperette. So that's why it's not lining up well here. This one, I'm tempted to move this hole forward here because it is back and it's pulling that from the edge a little bit, but realistically, I don't think that's a smart move. I suppose the other option is we could always leave the center clip out and just let it fall where it may between these two. We'll play with that real quick, but I think I'm going to just move these holes one way or the other and just drill them and get them this same distance from the edge here because these 2 here are spot on. And this one here is back a lot further. Let's get you up above. You see that? See the distance here versus the distance here. That's why this is pulling back, and it's actually putting this piece in a bind. So those are factory holes. Okay, I'm liking that now. I don't have clips anywhere except for here and here. There's none in the middle. Obviously that line is not exactly right. I am not about to reform that. I'll live with it. I am not going to try to like put more bend in that stainless. I'm just going to live with that little bit of differential, but it lines up pretty good all the way along there now. If I get those holes drilled where they should be, I think we'll be all right, especially because I think I can push that forward a little bit and get this right up to the edge. The whole thing is obviously not perfect. It's 1940s technology, but if I get those holes right, within plus or minus, I think we're going to be good. I'll be happy with that. I just think it's going to look cool with that piece of stainless under there. I didn't have to do that. I thought about filling those holes, but that was the decision I made all those years ago. So, and if I bought this piece of trim new, God knows if it would even be close. So I'm going to make do with this one as best as I can. We'll spend some time. We'll do an episode on taking this out, getting this all cleaned up, do some metal stainless finishing on it like you've seen me do before. All right, let me re-drill these holes. I'm going to leave this one out. I'm really tempted to just do between here and over there and call it good. I think there's more clips on it than need be, so let's do that. We'll drop one right in the middle here and right in the middle over there. And worst case scenario, yeah, I think if we pull down right in here, we're going to be okay. So let's try that. We've got nothing to lose. You got nothing to lose. There we go. We got one drilled here and one drilled here. Hopefully I drilled those in the right spot. Feels like it. Feels good because this feels more in line with this and this than it does with these. You can see that these are way back. So hopefully we're good. Put it in. We'll find out. So we are just going with 4 clips now instead of 7. So we'll need 2 more. I want to make sure I put them in with the correct offset. Okay, it's close. Oh, interesting. You got to look at that too, because I'm seeing that. Well, maybe it's the location on there. I don't know, but those clips have a different. Okay, that one's the same. Their offset is different. Again, I'm sure it's just a cheap manufacturing, so I don't really care. Okay, let's try that. We'll see. Really good, except it's shifted this way like a whole lot. I did that, I don't know, but that's fine. I can live with that. We may need to, let's see. Well, I sure would like to try to bend that a little bit, but I'm afraid if I do, what's going to happen is, yeah, I don't think I better. I think I better just live with it. So the ends, got to ponder that. It's not, oh, that one's not down in there all the way, that's why. Now that it did, it's, okay, there we go. I wonder if we shouldn't try some new clips, some of these brand new ones, and see if those will hold it tighter. But yeah, it's okay now that it's snapped in. It's pretty good. Let's get you over here. Full disclosure, right? So our edge, I think, lines up good. They said except for right in here. And I know I put this piece of trim on when I fitted this. So, but who knows? I don't think it's going to get any better than that. You know, our hump is, well, it is a little teeny bit offset. I guess I didn't notice that when I made that, but the line here is right. You can see that, but for some reason this is a little humpy there. So that's probably a fabrication error on my part. However, once this is painted, if we want to be tricky, we could just do a little theatrical paint in there and do that with a little bit of black just to hide that edge so it doesn't stick out as bad. So we may do that. We'll see. But I think overall it looks pretty good. I'm going to go over this real quick just to polish it up and get a better feel for it. And then we'll put it back on again. I'm comfortable with that. It's pretty tight with only 4 clips. I don't think we need to get crazy with it. Yeah, it's pretty good, I think. That end is pretty tight too. It's not going to fall off. That's the main thing. So I don't think we need to have 7 clips on it. I think we'll be okay. All right, so I just gave that a quick once over with some steel wool. Nothing fancy. I put new clips on it. I'm really happy with the way that looks. For some reason, I don't know why, this end pulled back now. But I think it's just the way it's fitting in the clip. Yeah, there we go. I got it pulled out a little bit, so we're fine. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. So by the time it's painted, it'll be fine. I just need to stop getting perfectionistic about it. I suppose the other option, I didn't think about this. This may be the way to do this. Let me try something here. I got an idea that might be a better way to go. Hang on. So I just tried flipping the clips around the other way, and it really doesn't make any difference. It'll be fine. The other thing I could do is make myself some screw-on ones like this that I could put in there, pull this trim into place where I want it, and then tighten it down. That may be a better way to go. Oh, look. I did use this to make this edge, because there's plasma cutter, little teeny marks from the plasma cutter right there in that trim. There's another one down there. So why this doesn't line up the way it used to, I don't know, because this would have been perfect, because that's the trim that I used to make that edge. It is what it is. I do notice that this trim is off this way a little bit, but I put the brand new clips in there. I tried flipping them the other way. Nothing is making the difference. So I think we'll go with it like it is. I mean, from here, it looks outstanding. And when that bumper is red, it's going to be just fine. But yeah, you can see that I'm off by probably 3/16 of an inch. I'm too far that way. So bringing it this way will help a little bit. But my hump in here is right on the money with the center. But for some reason, this edge here it didn't translate. But probably because I didn't keep putting the trim back on often enough as I was building it and in the fabrication processes I got a little out of control. But it's fine. I'm not going to worry about it. I could actually take this whole thing, and if I made those other clips, I could just offset it back just a little bit so there's a red line on that whole edge. So again, it's it's down low to the ground. The front of the car is slammed to the ground anyway. The bumper or the grill is over the top of it. It'll be just fine. The other thing, I went back and I found my primer, and I'm using Nason 42117 on this high build, and it's junk. So much for that. I got to see if I still have reducer for that. I got to see if I can still get that 42117. I'll call Jeff tomorrow and see if it's available, and I'll pick up another quart. If not, we'll find a rattle can of something that's similar, high build buff, because working in the buff is the way to go. So I just dug out all the paint products that I bought like 15 years ago for this car, and this was a little bit left in here. This has turned into snot, so it's junk. We have some here, which I think is DuPont that I used on the firewall. We still have some Metalux here that's good, some Metalux here that's good. And I did find a quart of a 4217 urethane back there, but my hardener is junk, so I'd have to get some hardener. So we'll see what makes more sense. I got to use up this old product. I'm not going to have enough paint left regardless to paint the hood. I'm sure of that. So we're going to have to do a color match. Even if there's just a little teeny bit in the bottom of this can, and even if that hadn't gone bad, there's not enough product left here to paint the hood, unless there's not even enough there. So between these three, there's going to be more than enough to paint the grill, but not enough to do the hood. So I doubt that I'm going to go with Metalux on the hood. That could be a problem. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I haven't even stripped the hood yet. The hood is still the original blue, so I don't even care if the hood's on the car to drive it. I want to get this car on the road without the hood and enjoy it, and then we'll get the hood on it down the road another time. We may need to call my buddy Matt in to do some color blending to get the hood to at least look respectable, but there's tricks, there's ways. We'll figure it out. So I'm not that worried about it, but Yeah, we're close. So whether I do the rattle can stuff to do the fill, this doesn't need any filling. This is good except for that one little flaw that I mentioned. So we just got to do some sanding on the pits on that, and we may have to touch that with a little bit more primer at some point there. So we're pretty good condition overall. It's the problem when a project like this drags out as long as it did. Life for the last 13 years has been really, really, really chaotic. I've only been back in the shop hot and heavy since 2019, 2020. Before that, I was just being run ragged with other things in life and never able to get out here doing what I love. So, yeah, we're back at it, but unfortunately, a lot of these products, I can see I need to go through all of the paint products over there. I do have a quart of Nason Clear that we can use. I still have some Metal Lux Clear, but I don't know if it's good anymore because it's so old. So we may just scrap that stuff and start over. But I'm happy to see I've got enough Nason Clear to go over this, and I've done that before. I've used Nason over Metal Lux with no problems. They don't recommend it, but I've done it. It's been holding up for years. It's fine, so we should be good to go. All right, that's going to do it for this one. I know it's not anything real exciting, but this is part of being here in the shop. It's taking stock of a project that you haven't worked on for a long time and figuring out what needs to happen next and where you need to go. So we're in good shape now. So we will be sanding that grill real soon and getting this touched up and ready to rock and roll. And we'll be spraying some base and clear on this thing and getting this grill bolted on the car. I'm so excited about that. I can't tell you how excited I am about that opportunity. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And we will catch you on the next one. Well, I don't know if we'll catch you, but I'll be here on the next one. And if you come back, you'll catch me too. Oh, don't forget. Rock!